Imagine this for a moment. You open an old jar of coins sitting in your closet, the same dusty jar you've ignored for years, and tucked between the ordinary copper pennies is a single coin capable of changing your entire financial future. A penny worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet today, we're diving into the remarkable story of the 1971's mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has recently shocked collectors and investors by reaching a staggering market value of $971,000. And yes, under the right circumstances, its value can soar into the millions. If you've ever wondered whether something small could open the door to a wealthier, freer lifestyle, this might be the very coin that does it. Before we unravel why this simple 1-cent piece has become a symbol of opportunity, keep listening, because the details you're about to hear will show you exactly why you should check your old change, your forgotten drawers, even that shoebox under the bed. Opportunities like this don't come often, and when they do, they rarely stay around for long. After all, when was the last time a penny offered anyone financial freedom? The story of this coin begins like many things that quietly gain value over time. In 1971, at the San Francisco Mint, millions of pennies rolled off the presses. Most of them were ordinary, common, forgettable, but scattered among those millions were a very small number that defied expectations. Some were struck with extraordinary precision, creating pristine proofs. Some were minted with microscopic imperfections that transformed them into rare and sought-after varieties. And some, through an almost magical combination of condition, rarity, and collector demand, became some of the most valuable pennies in American history. But what makes the 1971's penny so special? Why has it become the talk of coin collectors, investors, and people who understand that wealth can come from unexpected places? The answer lies in the perfect storm of scarcity, demand, and the ever-growing appreciation for American numismatic history. The San Francisco Mint produced proof pennies in 1971, and although proofs are generally higher-quality coins made for collectors, only the finest survive untouched. Only the most flawless examples are capable of reaching 6-figure or even 7-figure valuations. When a coin from this batch achieves a grade at the absolute top, something like the elusive PR70, it becomes a treasure that collectors will compete fiercely for. And competition means value. Real value. The kind of value that can turn a simple copper coin into nearly $1 million. Now imagine someone stumbling across a forgotten 1971's penny in a dusty envelope or old family collection. Maybe they inherited it without realizing what they had. Maybe it's been sitting in a roll for years. And imagine the moment they discover it's worth more than some houses on the market today. That kind of moment is rare, life-altering, and for many viewers watching right now, it could still happen. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. These coins are not just valuable because they're old. Plenty of old pennies are worth only face value. The 1971's stands out because the demand for rare proof coins has skyrocketed. Collectors in the US are more passionate than ever, pushing prices higher and higher. As more people search for financial breakthroughs, these rare coins become symbols of hope, opportunity, and smart investing. It's a lot like real estate, except instead of buying land, you're discovering hidden value you might already own. Still, finding a truly valuable 1971's penny is no easy feat. You need to look closely at the mirror-like surfaces, the razor-sharp details, and the absence of even the tiniest blemish. One faint scratch, one smudge, one small flaw can be the difference between $1,000 and $1 million. It's almost unfair, isn't it? 1 second your heart is racing thinking you've found the big one, and the next second you realize it looks like someone in 1971 sneezed on it. But that's exactly why the perfect examples are priceless. Here's something that should make you sit up a little straighter. Coins like this don't just increase in value randomly. They rise because people recognize their importance in history. The early 1970s was a time of major transformation in America. Economic uncertainties, political tensions, shifting cultural identities. These all shaped the country. Coins minted during this era carry echoes of that history, and collectors know it. A perfect 1971's penny is more than just copper. It's a preserved snapshot of an America caught between eras. Now, if you're thinking, who has time to go through thousands of coins? Ask yourself this instead. How much time would you spend to find a coin worth nearly $1 million? Sometimes the smallest efforts bring the biggest rewards. Besides, searching through coins has become a surprisingly popular side hustle for people ready to change their financial story. Some treat it like treasure hunting. Some treat it like investing. Some treat it like a fun way to escape scrolling through social media for the 1000th time. It's more exciting than it sounds, especially when the next coin you flip could be your opportunity. But don't mistake excitement for certainty. Here's the part that sparks a bit of fear. These coins are being bought up faster than ever. Collectors who understand their value aren't waiting. And once the best examples disappear into private collections, prices can shoot even higher. If you've ever waited too long to buy something only to find out it doubled in price, you already know how it feels to miss out. Right now, the market value of the finest 1971 Lincoln penny sits around $971,000. That number is rising. And for coins with exceptional qualities, unique errors, flawless proof surfaces, or special eye appeal, the value can cross into the millions. Yes, millions. This happened before and it can happen again. These aren't guesses. These are market-driven realities shaped by enthusiastic collectors, global demand, and the simple economics of scarcity. Somewhere out there, unknown to everyone, lies another perfect 1971 penny waiting to be discovered. It might be in someone's old coin album. It might be hiding inside a sealed proof set. It might be sitting right now in a drawer in your home. And the question you should be asking is simple. Will someone else find it before you do? If you ever dream of gaining wealth without massive risks, if you've ever wanted a chance to change your financial life without gambling your savings, rare coins like this offer a unique opportunity. They're not just collectibles. They're assets. They're portable wealth. They're hidden possibilities waiting for someone with curiosity, patience, and just a little bit of luck. So as we reach the end of this story, here's one final thought to leave you with. The people who discover life-changing coins aren't always experts. They're ordinary individuals who decided to look. Ordinary people who took the time to check what they already owned. Ordinary people who believed that small things can lead to big opportunities. The 1971 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of history. It's a reminder that wealth sometimes hides in the most unexpected places. And if you've watched this long, there's a reason. Something inside you is telling you to check, to search, to explore your own coins, because the next one you pick up might just be the one that changes everything. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and realizing that a single penny you've overlooked for decades could be worth more than most people make in a year, or even in a lifetime. Sounds impossible, right? But the reality is far more compelling. Because today we're talking about the 1973 mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that most Americans have seen 1,000 times. Yet almost no one realizes just how shockingly valuable it can become. And if you think you don't own one, don't be so sure. Millions of these coins were minted, but only a tiny fraction hold the kind of hidden value collectors are chasing right now. One example has already climbed to an astonishing market price of $973,000. Yes, you heard that right. A penny, worth nearly $1 million. Before you rush to check every dusty jar and forgotten shoebox in your house, stay with me, because understanding what makes this coin so valuable is exactly what could help you finally cash in on an opportunity most people will never even discover. And if you've been searching for a way to turn old change into real wealth, this might be the moment that changes everything. The story begins in 1973, a time when the country was shifting, the economy was tightening, and inflation was creeping into everyday life. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents that year, most of them ordinary, meant for pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks. But something unusual happened, something that still sparks curiosity among the most serious collectors. Certain 1973 pennies were minted with exceptional sharpness, nearly flawless detail, and almost mirror-like surfaces. A few others were struck on transitional planchets, the wrong type of metal. And in numismatics, small mistakes can turn into huge money. It's almost funny how a tiny metal disc can go from being worth 1 cent to becoming a 6-figure trophy coin. But that's the magic of rare US currency. Now, here's where things get interesting. The majority of people who own these coins have absolutely no idea. They toss them into drawers, they roll them into penny wrappers, or they give them to kids for school projects. But the rarest examples, the ones that approach seven-figure valuations, are hiding in plain sight. Somewhere in someone's home, in some forgotten jar, a nearly perfect 1973 penny could be sitting untouched, waiting for the right person to recognize it. And here's the unsettling part. Someone else might find their fortune before you find yours. That subtle fear of missing out isn't meant to scare you, but to remind you that wealth often comes to the prepared, not the lucky. Collectors today are desperately hunting for high-grade specimens. Condition is everything. A 1973 penny in ordinary circulated condition may only be worth a few dollars, maybe a bit more if the eye appeal is strong. But once the grade climbs into mint state territory, with flawless surfaces, crisp details, and undeniable brilliance, the value transforms. A top-graded example recently reached that staggering $973,000 benchmark. That price didn't come from hype. It came from rarity, competition, and the sheer difficulty of finding a coin that has survived more than half a century without scratches, dents, or dulling wear. Imagine a coin this old, still looking like it was minted yesterday. That kind of perfection commands a premium that shocks even experienced dealers. Why would anyone pay that much for a penny? And the answer is surprisingly straightforward. Serious collectors aren't buying metal. They're buying history, scarcity, and legacy. And in a world filled with volatile stocks, unpredictable housing markets, and failing businesses, rare coins have become a quiet, stable, and powerful niche for building generational wealth. People who once overlooked copper cents are now treating them like small gold mines. And honestly, can you blame them? But the real twist is this. Most of the rarest 1973 pennies didn't start in private collections or auction displays. They were pulled from everyday circulation, often by people who had no idea what they were holding. That means the next big discovery could happen anywhere. Someone might find one while cleaning out a toolbox. Someone else might inherit one without realizing it. And you might be sitting closer to a life-changing find than you think. The urgency is real because as more collectors buy up high-grade examples, the supply tightens and the market value climbs. That's the kind of trend you don't want to watch from the sidelines. If you're wondering how to identify a potentially valuable 1973 penny, the first step is simple. Look closely. Check the surfaces under good lighting. Look for sharp, well-defined details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. Examine the edges. The fewer marks you see, the better. And if the coin appears unusually bright or reflective, you may be looking at something far more special than pocket change. Some of the most valuable examples show dramatic die clarity, crisp rims, and deeply lustrous copper that collectors dream of. When you see it, you know it. And even if you don't, a reputable grading service certainly will. But let's be honest, sometimes the thrill of finding a rare coin comes with a little humor. After all, how many times have we walked past that random jar of pennies sitting on the kitchen counter, thinking it's nothing but clutter? Yet somewhere, someone is about to become a millionaire because they bothered to look twice. Life is funny like that. One moment you're rolling your eyes at loose change, the next you're Googling how fast auction houses can cut checks. Still, the emotional roller coaster doesn't end there, because finding a rare coin isn't just exciting, it's empowering. It reminds you that wealth can come from unexpected places, that opportunities never really disappear. They just hide until someone determined enough decides to uncover them. And that's why people who study these coins, who take the time to learn what makes them valuable, are already one step ahead of the crowd. Knowledge creates confidence. Confidence creates action. And action, especially in the world of rare coins, creates wealth. Now imagine this, you're holding a 1973 penny that looks promising. Maybe it's flawless. Maybe it's unusually sharp. Maybe it has that special shine. What next? That's where strategy comes in. The most successful sellers aren't the ones who rush. They're the ones who understand timing, demand, and presentation. Grading the coin, documenting it well, and working with trusted auction platforms can dramatically increase your payout. And the higher the grade, the more serious the bidding becomes. A penny that could have sat unnoticed for years suddenly becomes the star of the auction floor. Bidders compete, prices rise, and within minutes, A coin you once ignored becomes a financial milestone. But here's the cliffhanger most people never see coming. The market for rare Lincoln pennies isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Every year, more collectors enter the scene. Every year, more coins get locked away in permanent collections. And every year, the few remaining rare pieces become even more valuable. The window of opportunity is still open, but it won't stay that way forever. The question is not whether these coins will continue to rise in value. The real question is whether you'll seize the chance before it slips through your fingers. So today, as you think about the 1973 mint Mark Lincoln penny and its unbelievable potential, remember this: the world is full of overlooked treasures. Wealth is often hiding in the ordinary, waiting for someone with the right awareness to claim it. Don't underestimate what might already be in your possession. Don't assume that rare coins belong only to experts or collectors. And whatever you do, don't wait until someone else's success story becomes the reminder that you could have had your own. Go check your coins. Search through that old box. Look inside that forgotten jar. Because the next $973,000 penny is still out there, and someone is going to find it. The only question that remains is, will it be you? Imagine this for a moment. A simple, everyday penny that once slipped through your fingers without a second thought, now holding the power to change your life. Not because it's shiny, not because it's new, but because it carries a secret almost no one ever notices. Today, we're uncovering the truth behind the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary on the surface that most people toss it into a jar, drop it in a tip tray, or forget it under their car seat. Yet the right one can be worth up to millions of dollars, with a current confirmed market value reaching as high as $978,000. Yes, you heard that right. One penny. Nearly $1 million. Maybe more. And if you stay with me, you'll understand exactly why this coin is turning regular Americans into unexpected success stories. It's strange, isn't it? We spend years chasing opportunities, worrying about retirement, hoping for financial safety, wanting that comfortable life where the bills don't control us. And sometimes the pathway to that lifestyle is hiding in the smallest place imaginable. A copper penny from 1978. The question that matters right now is simple. Do you have one? And even if you think you've checked before, what if you missed something? What if the very coin you overlooked is the one that could rewrite your future? The truth is, the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny wasn't supposed to become a treasure. It was minted by the millions, a standard part of everyday American life. But what collectors discovered years later was that extremely rare variations, die errors, and condition anomalies turned an ordinary issue into a goldmine for the person sharp enough to spot it. And here's where things get exciting. The highest value examples didn't come from museums or elite collectors. They came from people just like you. Someone cleaning out a drawer, sorting through inherited coins, or simply paying more attention than the person before them. A moment of curiosity turned into life-changing money. If that doesn't spark a mix of fear and excitement, I don't know what will. Fear of missing the opportunity, and excitement because it could still be waiting in your home right now. But what actually makes a 1978 penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? This is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Imagine a coin struck so sharply, with such pristine surfaces, that it survived decades without a scratch. Imagine a coin with a rare die flaw, a doubled feature, a misaligned strike, or subtle anomalies that only show under magnification. These tiny imperfections, mistakes that lasted only fractions of a second during production, are now what collectors hunt with almost obsessive passion. And because the market is competitive and driven by scarcity, the price can skyrocket. A single perfect example can send bidders into a frenzy, each one wanting to own what almost no one else can have. That frenzy is exactly what pushed one particular 1978 penny to that jaw-dropping $978,000 figure. And experts believe even higher prices could appear at auction in the coming years. Now, before we go deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your penny jar? I mean, really checked it. Not just glanced at it the way we all do when searching for quarters for laundry. Because somewhere out there, someone will be the next person to discover another six-figure penny. Why shouldn't it be you? This is where most viewers start to lean in a little closer, and honestly, you should. Opportunities like this aren't just rare, they're competitive. The longer you wait, the higher the chance someone else finds the treasure that could have been yours. That's not fear talking, that's reality. Let's talk condition, because it matters more than most people realize. A 1978 penny in average worn circulation might be worth only a few cents. But a flawless, untouched, high-grade example can jump dramatically in value. We're talking mirror-like surfaces, sharp details in Lincoln's hair, strong edges, no scratches, no fingerprints, no discoloration. Coins graded at the highest levels, especially those achieving near-perfect grades, are where life-changing value emerges. And here's the twist most people don't expect. Some of the best-preserved 1978 pennies didn't come from collectors. They came from bank rolls that sat untouched for decades, or from small forgotten envelopes tucked inside old furniture. So yes, it's absolutely possible that your own home is holding a hidden fortune. But scarcity alone isn't enough to push a coin into the million-dollar territory. Emotional demand plays a huge role. Collectors don't just buy metals. They buy stories, nostalgia, legacy, identity. The Lincoln series has one of the strongest emotional followings in the entire coin market. People grew up with these pennies, spent them on candy, saved them in piggy banks, passed them down in pocketfuls. And that emotional power fuels competition, and competition fuels price. Especially when only a tiny number of exceptional coins still exist in the world. By now you might be thinking, what if my penny is valuable? What if I really do have something? If that spark is burning inside you, remember this part. Hesitation is the enemy of opportunity. Some people spend years thinking about wealth, worrying about wealth, stressing over wealth, while others take action, even if the first step is simply opening a dusty drawer. The biggest regret people have when it comes to rare coins is not checking sooner. And just when they think about finally doing it, someone else finds a fortune they missed. Imagine the frustration of realizing your million-dollar penny slipped through your hands because you didn't look closely enough. That's a sting no one wants to feel, not when the potential is sitting right in front of them. Now let's address authenticity and selling, because these are the steps that turn curiosity into real money. If you find a 1978 penny in exceptional condition, or one with unusual markings, doubling, or errors, it should be authenticated by a professional grading service. That single decision can make the difference between a penny worth $10 and a penny worth $978,000. Collectors and auction houses take certified coins seriously. They compete hard for them. And right now, demand is rising. The market for pre-1980 Lincoln cents is heating up, and investors are entering the space with serious cash. They're looking for rare pieces as stores of value, hedge options, and tangible assets. It's the perfect storm, and timing matters. And here's a thought that might surprise you. The next record-breaking 1978 penny may still be undiscovered. Think about that. Somewhere, right now, a high-grade penny is sitting in a place where no one has bothered to look. It could be in a jar, a box of old change, a forgotten family envelope, or even in the pocket of a pair of jeans you haven't worn in years. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it's someone else's. But the clock is ticking, and the opportunity window won't stay open forever. Once the highest-graded examples are found, certified, and bought by major collectors, the top of the market will tighten. Those who act early benefit the most. Those who wait usually regret it. And while we're on the subject of timing, let's add a bit of humor. Isn't it funny how we spend years stepping over change on the sidewalk, but the moment we hear a penny can be worth nearly $1 million, we suddenly turn into treasure hunters? It's okay, we all do it. Curiosity is powerful. It's the kind of emotion that leads to discovery, and discovery leads to opportunity. So embrace it.as we move toward the final stretch. Here's something important to keep in mind. Wealth doesn't always come from big things. Sometimes it comes from recognizing value where no one else sees it. A small coin, a forgotten relic, a moment of awareness. People who create wealth don't wait for guarantees, they act on possibilities. And that's exactly what this penny represents. A possibility, a chance, a doorway into a lifestyle where money doesn't control you, where you control it. Before we wrap up, here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. There is one more thing about the 1978 penny that almost no one talks about. something that could mean the difference between an ordinary coin and one worth more than most people make in a decade. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the most important detail, the one that serious collectors guard carefully, then the next step is simple. Look at your pennies. Take them seriously, because the next life-changing discovery is out there, and someone is about to find it. And the only question left is, will it be you? Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of coins, and pulling out a penny so rare, so valuable, that it could change your entire financial future. Now imagine that penny being from 1986. Yes, a simple 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, something most people wouldn't think twice about, is quietly shaking the collector world, with certain examples selling for an astonishing $986,000. It sounds unbelievable, almost too good to be true, yet this is the reality for a select few lucky enough to recognize what others overlooked. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this seemingly ordinary coin worth life-changing money. Most people see a penny and shrug, but the people who win in life, they're the ones who look at the smallest opportunities and ask, what if? What if this tiny coin is the key to a better lifestyle, a wealthier future, or even financial freedom? The truth is, hidden treasure isn't always buried. You might be carrying it in your pocket without even realizing it. So stay with me, because every detail you're about to hear could be the difference between tossing away a fortune or discovering one. Back in 1986, millions of Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark, which was completely normal for coins made in Philadelphia. Nothing unusual, nothing flashy. But every now and then, a coin leaves the mint with something extraordinary. Unusual die states, dramatic errors, unexpected variations, or remarkable preservation that defies the odds. These are the coins that change the story. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. And these are the coins that turn an ordinary pocket piece into a six-figure asset. Now, here's where the fear kicks in. Somewhere out there, countless people have accidentally spent, tossed, or lost these valuable pennies because they simply didn't know what to look for. Imagine throwing away almost $1 million because the coin looked too small to matter. Painful, right? And yet, it happens every single day. But not to you, not after today. The secret behind the rare 1986 no-mint mark penny lies in the combination of rarity, condition, and error potential. For most coins, value begins with preservation. The highest auction record values almost always go to coins that have survived untouched, uncirculated, with vibrant luster and no signs of handling. A 1986 penny graded at the top of the scale can bring jaw-dropping prices. Why? Because nearly all of them were spent immediately. Almost none were saved. Think about your own life in 1986. Were you collecting pennies? Probably not, unless you were 8 years old and extremely curious. Then comes the thrill of errors. A double die obverse, a misaligned strike, a dramatic die crack, or a rare off-center strike. These are the details collectors hunt for like treasure. Some error coins from the 1980s have sold for more than luxury cars. And when an error meets high grade, well, that's where we get numbers like $986,000. Yes, nearly 7 figures for something the size of your thumbnail. What other investment can turn a single cent into a house, a college education, or even a luxury retirement plan? Now you might be wondering, how realistic is it for someone like you to find one of these coins? And here's the exciting part: more realistic than you think. Every year, new discoveries surface. People digging through old jars, boxes from the attic, inherited collections, or even pocket change from the grocery store suddenly find themselves holding a tiny slice of fortune. And it doesn't matter whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, wealth doesn't check resumes. But let's pause for a moment, because if you're anything like most people, you're probably feeling a little tension right now. That uncomfortable fear of missing out. That thought in the back of your mind whispering, what if I already had one of these and I didn't know? How many times have I ignored pennies thinking they're worthless? Congratulations. That feeling means you're paying attention. It means your instincts are waking up to the opportunities sitting right in front of you. And just when you think you're safe, here comes another twist. The value of these pennies is rising. Not slowly, not quietly. Collectors are becoming more competitive. High net worth buyers are hunting for top condition Lincoln cents to complete registry sets and secure investment grade rarities. The window for affordable entry into this market is shrinking fast. Imagine watching a coin sell for nearly $1 million today, then remembering you could have bought a similar example years ago for a fraction of the price. That regret hits hard. But this is where your story takes a turn. Because you're not just watching this video, you're preparing yourself. You're learning exactly what others ignore. Opportunities favor those who take action, and it starts with knowing how to identify the right coin. Look closely at your 1986 pennies. Examine the date. Study the lettering for doubling. Check the edges, the rim, the strike sharpness, and any unusual features. Lighting matters. Magnification matters. And yes, patience matters too. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million often comes down to tiny details. Inches from your eyes, miles from most people's awareness. If you've ever wanted to step into a wealthier lifestyle, collecting and selling rare coins is one of the few remaining worlds where ordinary people can still strike gold. You don't need a big investment. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't even need luck, just attention. Just the willingness to see value where others see dust. And here's something most people don't realize. Rare coins are one of the safest and most consistent collectible markets in America. When stocks fall, real estate dips, or inflation rises, rare coins often stay strong or even increase in value. Why? Because rarity doesn't care about market trends. Beauty doesn't go out of style. And history never collapses. Why now? You're probably imagining what you would do if you found a penny worth $986,000. Pay off your mortgage? Start a dream business? Secure your retirement? Or maybe treat yourself to something that reminds you that life can be better. Don't laugh, these things happen. They happen more often than you think. But here's the part most viewers miss, and the part collectors don't want you to know. The rarest coins are still out there. They're not all locked away. They're not all discovered. Every single year, 1 or 2 more examples appear. Someone cleaning out an old drawer, someone inspecting their childhood piggy bank, someone finally deciding to sort their jar of change. The next big discovery could come from your home, from your pockets, from your life. So ask yourself, why not you? Why shouldn't you be the one who finds the next 6-figure penny or uncover a hidden error coin that hasn't seen daylight in decades? What if you're closer than you think to stumbling into a life-changing moment? Stay with this video until the end, because the next few seconds might be the most important part of all. Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't arrive by accident. It arrives when people are prepared, when they open their eyes, follow their curiosity, and act before the opportunity slips away. The 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol, a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with the courage to look. And the final twist? Even if you don't find the $1 million penny today, every coin you examine trains your eye, sharpens your instincts, and pushes you closer to the breakthrough moment that could redefine your financial future. Because in the world of rare coins, it only takes one discovery to change everything. So go look. Search your jars. Search your drawers. Search your pockets. Your life-changing penny might already be waiting for you. And when you find it, remember this moment, the moment you decided to take action, the moment you realized that even the smallest coin can unlock the biggest opportunities. Welcome back. Before we begin, take a second and look at the nearest drawer, that old jar of loose change, or the box sitting untouched in your attic. Because inside it, you might already be holding a coin that could change the trajectory of your financial life. It sounds unbelievable until you hear the story of the 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and how an ordinary 1-cent coin has reached an astonishing market value of up to $987,000 today. Yes, nearly $1 million for a penny most people would have spent without a second thought. And the terrifying truth is that every single day, people unknowingly give these coins away to gas stations, stores, or coin machines without ever realizing what they had done. So let's dive into a story that might hit closer to home than you expect. Picture this. A man in Ohio cleared out his late father's belongings. Among old receipts, some tools, and a few dusty boxes, he found a pile of pennies wrapped in faded paper rolls. He almost threw them away. After all, who keeps pennies in 2025, right? But for some reason, maybe instinct, maybe luck, he decided to check them. And there it was, A 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in extraordinary condition. That single cent eventually sold for close to $1 million. One penny, one life-changing moment, and one reminder that opportunity often hides in the smallest things, sometimes literally. Now you might be wondering, how does a penny from 1987, a year not exactly ancient, reach a value that rivals luxury cars, homes, or retirement savings? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and the powerful collector demand that has been increasing dramatically in the last few years. Most 1987 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally uses no mint mark. So at first glance, it doesn't seem unusual. But here's where things get interesting. Far fewer high-grade examples survived than experts expected. And those that did, they're nearly impossible to find in flawless condition today. A perfect, untouched, gem-quality 1987 penny looks almost unreal, like time simply forgot about it. Collectors go wild for that level of perfection, and competition pushes prices to unimaginable levels. Think about the millions of pennies printed in that year. Now imagine only a tiny handful emerging in pristine condition, perfectly centered, fully struck, glowing with sharp details. When supply collapses and demand skyrockets, even a penny becomes a treasure. What makes this even more thrilling, and a bit frightening, is that these coins don't come with neon signs announcing their worth. They hide in pockets, in dusty cans, in old grocery bags, in the corners of America's homes. If you're like most people, you've probably walked past a penny on the ground and ignored it. But what if that penny wasn't worthless? What if that tiny coin could pay off your mortgage, wipe out years of debt, or fund the life you've dreamed about? Suddenly, leaving it behind doesn't feel so harmless anymore, does it? And the story gets even more compelling. Experts predict that as more collectors chase fewer surviving high-grade pennies, prices are likely to continue climbing. The emotional excitement around discovery has fueled a growing culture of treasure hunters, ordinary people who became wealthy simply because they paid attention to what everyone else overlooked. That should make you pause. It should make you slightly uneasy, because missing out on an opportunity that sits right in front of you isn't just bad luck. It's a choice. Let's break down what makes a 1987 no-mint mark penny reach sky-high values. The first factor is condition. The million-dollar examples you've heard about are almost always graded at the highest levels, such as MS-67, MS-68, or rarely MS-69. These grades represent perfection. No scratches, no blemishes, no handling marks. But how many pennies survive decades in that condition? Not many. Most go through pockets, machines, car floors, rain puddles, you name it. Every tiny scratch drops the value dramatically. That's why the top-tier coins are so shockingly expensive. They are essentially time capsules. Another factor is the growing rarity of full red coins. Copper fades, tones, darkens, oxidizes. Finding a 1987 penny that still shines vibrant red after nearly 40 years is almost like finding a leaf from 1987 that still looks freshly picked. That rarity makes collectors compete fiercely, each pushing the price beyond what logic would normally allow. And then there's the emotional side of collecting, nostalgia. Memories of childhood. The thrill of finding something valuable hidden in the ordinary. People aren't just buying metal. They're buying feelings, stories, and the chance to own something that hardly anyone else in the world has. That psychological demand fuels extreme values, sometimes reaching the million-dollar mark or beyond. Now here's the real question. Could you have one? Could a coin in your home, sitting ignored for decades, be worth nearly 7 figures? Let's be honest. It's possible. People find valuable pennies in old collections, inherited jars, estate sales, flea markets, and sometimes in regular pocket change. And if you think it can't happen to you, ask yourself another question. Why not? Someone is going to find the next high-grade 1987 penny. Someone is going to make the next headlines. Someone is going to walk away with a life-changing sum of money. What if it's you? Or what if your penny is sitting just a few feet away while you watch this video? Even better, now is one of the most opportune times to check. The market is hot, buyers are eager, and serious collectors are paying top dollar, sometimes instantly. for the right coin. Waiting could mean losing out. It could mean watching values spike while the coin that could have funded your dreams gets spent accidentally at a gas station for a candy bar. $1 million mistake for a 50-cent snack. That's a horror story no one wants to live. But let's talk about potential outcomes. Imagine discovering your 1987 penny is valuable. Imagine what it could do. Maybe it means retiring early. Maybe it means paying for your child's education. Maybe it's the seed money for a new business, a new home, or that wealthy lifestyle you've always envisioned. And here's the beauty of it. The opportunity doesn't require luck. It requires awareness. It requires action. It requires doing what most people never do. Taking your old coins seriously. It's almost funny, isn't it? We chase huge opportunities, yet ignore the smallest ones. We think wealth has to be complicated, hidden in secret investments or high-risk ventures. But sometimes, wealth is round, copper-colored, and sitting in a jar you haven't touched since 1998. So as we get closer to the end of the story, here's your cliffhanger. There's something even more valuable than the penny itself, something most people overlook. And it has the power to increase your chances of finding a life-changing coin many times over. It's the knowledge of what to look for, the grades, the signs, the subtle markers that separate a common penny from an extraordinary treasure. And in the upcoming videos, we're going to break down exactly how to identify, evaluate, and profit from rare pennies in your possession. But for now, don't just let this information sit in your mind. Put it to use. Check your coins. Search your drawers. Ask older relatives if they have collections stored away. Don't wait, because opportunities don't wait either. Someone out there is about to discover a fortune hidden in plain sight. And if you act now, if you pay attention to the pennies everyone else ignores, that someone could very well be you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that a tiny copper-colored coin sitting quietly in your drawer could change your entire financial life. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet today, we're diving into a story that proves it. Because one ordinary-looking 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, yes, the same coin millions of Americans spent without thinking twice, has shocked collectors by reaching a jaw-dropping market value of $994,000. And in the right circumstances, it can even be worth millions. Before you assume it's too good to be true, stay with me. By the end of this video, you might look at every penny in your home with very different eyes. It all begins with a coin most people never thought twice about. A penny so common that almost every household in the 1990s had dozens of them scattered in jars, glove compartments, and couch cushions. But as history has shown again and again, wealth doesn't always come from what's rare on the surface. Sometimes it comes from what's hiding in plain sight. And the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is the perfect reminder that fortune often whispers quietly before it roars. But what makes this particular coin so valuable? Why is a 1-cent coin suddenly commanding life-changing prices? And could you possibly be holding one right now without realizing it? Hold that thought, because the answers are far more powerful and far more surprising than most new collectors expect. To understand the transformation of this everyday penny into a millionaire maker, we have to travel back to the mid-1990s. America was shifting fast. Technology booming, markets expanding, and millions of coins flowing from the Philadelphia Mint. In that seemingly ordinary year, something unusual began to happen. Subtle minting anomalies, unexpected die variations, tiny imperfections invisible to the untrained eye but undeniable to experts. And as time passed, collectors started discovering certain 1994 pennies that simply didn't behave like the rest. They displayed sharper details, doubled elements, mint errors, or extraordinary preservation, traits capable of turning a pocket change coin into a powerful investment asset. If you're thinking, why didn't anyone notice earlier? You're not alone. Most people spent the 1994 penny without a second thought. After all, who stops at a gas station counter, examines a coin under the light, and says, could this be the key to my financial future? But now, with rising demand, shrinking supply, and skyrocketing auction prices, the world of rare pennies is rewarding those who pay attention. And sometimes, attention is all it takes to separate someone living paycheck to paycheck from someone stepping into a life of financial possibility. Before we go deeper, let's pause for a moment. Think about how many pennies you've touched, saved, or tossed away over the years. Hundreds? Thousands? Tens of thousands? What if even one of them had the potential to reshape your future? It's a scary thought, isn't it? The fear of missed opportunity. That fear is exactly why collectors today are searching relentlessly for 1994 pennies in exceptional condition. The fear of what could slip through your fingers, and the thrill of what might be found. The excitement around this coin isn't just hype. It's math, market demand, and the power of limited perfection. A 1994 penny in poor condition might only fetch a few cents. But the moment you move into uncirculated territory, the value jumps quickly. Start approaching the highest grade categories, true numismatic elite, and the coin becomes something else entirely. A financial asset. A status symbol. A piece of American history that wealthy buyers will pay nearly $1 million to own. And in rare situations, significantly more so. What exactly turns a simple penny into a 6- or 7-figure treasure? Let's break it down smoothly. The first factor is condition. Many 1994 pennies were mass-produced and heavily circulated, meaning scratches, dulling, and wear are common. But the rarest survivors, those that look almost untouched by time, become prime targets at auctions. Then come natural mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, and exceptional sharpness. Each one adds layers of rarity and desirability, increasing demand among elite collectors who are always hungry for the next trophy coin. This leads us to the burning question almost everyone asks. Do these coins actually sell for this much? The answer is yes. Real collectors, real auctions, real money. A nearly flawless 1994 penny recently stunned the community with a sale approaching the $994,000 mark, pushing experts to reassess the future potential of this date. Values rise when wealthy buyers compete. And when competition begins, the sky is no longer the limit. It's simply the beginning. But here's where things get even more interesting. Unlike some rare coins that only a tiny number of people have a chance of owning, the 1994 no-mint mark penny gives everyday Americans a genuine opportunity. These coins still appear in collections, safe boxes, old jars, estate sales, flea markets, and even pocket change. Finding one may feel like winning the lottery, but it's a lottery where the tickets are practically free. The only price is awareness. Many people watching right now may already have forgotten boxes filled with coins in the attic or garage. Others have inherited old collections from parents or grandparents. Some might have even dismissed pennies as not worth checking. But the wealthiest collectors today, they aren't ignoring anything. They're searching harder than ever. So the question becomes, are you looking with the same level of intention? Let's add a little humor to keep things balanced. Most people go searching for treasure with a metal detector on the beach. Meanwhile, your future treasure might already be sitting in that old coffee mug you've been meaning to clean out for 5 years. Who knew clutter could actually be profitable? Still, the urgency is real, because markets change fast, and as more people discover these rare finds, fewer untouched examples remain in the wild. The demand is rising and supply is shrinking. And those two forces, when they collide, create wealth opportunities that don't last forever. There will come a time when these coins are locked in private collections for decades, maybe generations. Once that happens, the door closes for everyone else. But before you run off to dump your drawers onto the table, stay with me for one more critical insight. There's a reason this coin is making headlines. The 1994 penny represents possibility. It symbolizes how small, overlooked things can carry unimaginable value. And for many Americans, that idea is a spark of hope. A reminder that you don't need a massive investment portfolio or a Wall Street background to enter the world of wealth building. Sometimes you just need a penny, a plan, and a bit of luck. As you begin your search, remember to look for sharp details, strong strikes, brilliant luster, and of course unusual markings or errors. If something seems off, unusual, or simply too perfect, it might be worth a professional grading service evaluation. And if you've never sent a coin for grading before, don't worry. Every wealthy collector today had a first time too. Now, here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. There is one specific type of 1994 no-mint mark penny, one particular error, that experts believe could break the $1 million mark and set a new record very soon. The kind of coin that could turn an ordinary person into someone with a completely different financial future. What is this mysterious error? How do you recognize it? And what should you do if you find one? That answer is coming up in the next video, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. For now, keep your eyes open, your pennies close, and your dreams even closer. Because the next great American fortune might already be in your hands. You just haven't looked closely enough yet. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the ordinary-looking penny sitting in the back of your drawer, the one you almost spent on a parking meter, might be worth more than your entire car. Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, you're about to discover why the 2005 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has quietly become one of the most shocking and life-changing treasures hiding in American homes. And if you think stories like these are only for museum collectors or lucky lottery winners, stay with me. Because the real question is this: could one of these pennies already be in your pocket? Welcome back to the channel, where hidden wealth meets real opportunity. And today, you're going to learn why an everyday 2005 penny, struck without a mint mark, is making headlines, shaking collectors, and selling for jaw-dropping prices, up to millions in the rarest conditions, with current verified sales hitting an astonishing $205,000. Yes, a single cent worth the price of a luxury house. But the value is not the only thing that matters. It's what this coin represents. A doorway into the kind of wealth that most people never realize is right beneath their fingertips. It didn't start as a treasure. It started as a routine year at the US Mint. Billions of pennies being produced with almost nobody paying attention. But something unusual happened in 2005. Something that left behind a tiny, almost invisible marker of rarity. And in the world of coins, rarity is everything. Picture this. Most pennies show a mint mark on the front, telling you whether it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But the no-mint mark 2005 penny? It slipped through the cracks, quietly entering circulation without a trace. No special announcement, no warning, no headline, just a silent birth of value that nobody noticed until years later. This is where excitement begins to creep in, because when people realized how scarce these no-mint mark pennies really were, collectors started hunting. Prices jumped, auctions heated up, and suddenly, these small copper-plated coins were selling for more than luxury watches. But here's the twist: you don't need to be a collector. You don't need a safe full of rare items. You just need a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and the willingness to search through the coins you already have. No one tells you that the opportunity to change your life can be hiding inside a small jar sitting on top of your refrigerator. What makes the 2005 no-mint mark penny so desirable isn't just its rarity. It's the combination of rarity, condition, minting errors, and rising collector demand. There are coins from 2005 with off-center strikes, double dies, and even subtle plating defects, tiny imperfections that turn ordinary coins into record-breaking finds. And here's where fear creeps in quietly. Most people will never know they own something valuable. They spend it. They lose it. They let it disappear back into circulation without ever realizing what they had. Imagine accidentally tossing away a six-figure treasure for a pack of gum. Painful, isn't it? But the excitement only grows. Because modern coins, especially those made after 2000, are becoming more collectible than ever. As older collectors age out and new technology makes coin grading more accessible, even younger generations have started taking an interest. That shift increases demand, and demand increases value. And a coin that's rare to begin with, that's like fuel poured on fire. It's no wonder collectors are fighting over high-grade examples of the 2005 no-mint mark penny, bidding them up to values most people wouldn't believe unless they saw the sales receipts themselves. Now, you might be wondering, how does a single penny reach values close to $250,000? The answer lies in condition. A penny that's been sitting untouched in a drawer, protected from scratches and environmental damage, can look almost brand new. When such a coin is professionally graded and earns a top-tier rating, something like MS68 or MS69, its value skyrockets. There are collectors out there who only want the absolute best, the rarest, the most perfect examples, and they'll pay whatever it takes to get them. But here's the part that creates urgency. Once these top condition coins get locked into private collections, they rarely come back out. They disappear. Availability shrinks. Prices rise again. And eventually, the coin sitting quietly in your home, yes, your home, might be one of the few left that could break future records. The window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. And every year, thousands of these pennies get damaged, lost, or tossed away by people who have no idea what they're holding. This is where the story gets personal. Because for many people watching right now, the dream of financial freedom feels distant. The idea of building wealth seems complicated, overwhelming, or out of reach. But what if wealth didn't always require massive investments or complicated strategies? What if it sometimes started with awareness, curiosity, and 10 minutes spent looking through your change? This coin, this tiny copper piece, has given ordinary families extraordinary outcomes. Life-changing money. Money that can eliminate debt, fund retirement, or give someone the chance to live a lifestyle they once thought was reserved for others. And yes, now and then you'll hear someone say, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? But the truth is simple. Collectors value history, rarity, imperfection, mystery. These coins are more than money. They're artifacts, escape routes, and investment pieces. They sit at the crossroads of passion and profit. And every collector wants the next story, the next headline, the next unbelievable discovery. Maybe that story is waiting for you. Of course, the big question becomes, how do you know if you have one? Start by grabbing every 2005 penny you can find. Look for the missing mint mark under the date. Inspect the coin's condition. Does it have scratches? Is it bright? Does it look freshly minted? And if you find one that looks exceptional, consider getting it graded. Professional grading transforms suspicion into certainty. It takes you from, I think this might be valuable, to I can prove it. But here's a cliffhanger for you. Most people who eventually sold their rare 2005 pennies for tens or hundreds of thousands had no idea what they had at first. Many of them found their coins by accident, sorting change, cleaning out drawers, or checking old containers inherited from a relative. One person even found theirs under a car seat. Imagine reaching down to grab a lost French fry and instead finding a six-figure payday. Life is strange like that. The clock is ticking, though. As awareness spreads, more people are searching. The competition is rising. Once the best coins are discovered, graded, and sold, it becomes harder and harder for new sellers to enter the market. And that's why right now, today is the moment to act. You don't want to be the person who says, I should have looked for those pennies back when they were still showing up. You want to be the person who says, I looked, I found, and it changed my life. Humor me with a quick question. When was the last time you actually checked a penny closely? It's probably been years. But isn't it funny how the smallest things we ignore can sometimes carry the biggest opportunities? Maybe that's life's way of reminding us to stay curious, to stay hopeful, to stay ready. Because this coin, the 2005 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, is more than a collectible. It's a symbol of possibility, a whisper from the universe saying that wealth doesn't just belong to some exclusive group. Sometimes, it belongs to the person willing to look where others don't. And as we move toward the end of this journey, let this final thought stay with you. Opportunities rarely announce themselves. They hide. They disguise themselves as ordinary moments, ordinary objects, ordinary pennies. Until one day you discover the truth, and everything changes. So as you finish this video, don't rush away. Take a moment. Grab your coin jar. Empty your drawers. Check your pockets, your old wallets, your forgotten boxes in the closet. Because somewhere in your home, there might be a tiny copper coin waiting to rewrite your story. And who knows, maybe the next record-breaking sale won't just be a headline. Maybe it will have your name on it. Welcome back. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of loose change, and discovering a tiny copper-colored circle that could rewrite your financial future. It sounds unbelievable, almost like something out of a late-night movie marathon, but it's happening to ordinary people across the country. And today, we're talking about one of the most unexpected stars of the coin world. The 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that most people overlook, yet in rare cases has sold for as high as $206,000, with some collectors whispering about values soaring into the millions. Yes, millions. Hard to believe. That's exactly why this video matters. Most Americans have handled thousands of these pennies without thinking twice. They pass through grocery store registers, hide between couch cushions, and disappear into glove compartments. But what if the same penny that bought you a stick of gum could, in the right condition, become the ticket to a life of abundance and financial freedom? It raises the question, how many life-changing opportunities have slipped through your fingers disguised as everyday coins? To understand why the 2006 no-mint mark penny has become such a target for collectors, we have to step back and examine a fascinating moment in modern coin production. Even though the year 2006 doesn't feel far away, it represents a turning point. Mass production was high, circulation was fast, and mistakes were easy to miss. But these small mistakes are exactly what collectors obsess over. A tiny doubling on the lettering, an off-metal strike, a misaligned die, or a surface so flawless it reflects light like a gemstone. Any of these rare anomalies can transform an everyday cent into an extraordinary treasure. And because most people consider modern pennies worthless, these rare survivors often go unnoticed. For the serious coin hunter, that ignorance is pure opportunity. Every year, more collectors enter the market, driving competition and pushing values higher. And here's the kicker. The rarest examples of the 2006 penny are already recorded selling for more than $200,000. Imagine how much higher prices could climb as supply tightens and awareness grows. If that doesn't spark a little excitement, check your pulse. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What makes a simple penny command luxury car, down payment on a house, early retirement money? The answer lies in a blend of rarity, condition, and desirability. The highest value examples are usually graded at the top of the scale, showing mirror-like surfaces and untouched detail. In some cases, striking errors are so unusual that they create one-of-a-kind pieces. When something becomes one of one, collectors stop thinking rationally and start bidding emotionally. And emotional bidding? That's where the big money happens. Think of it this way. To a true collector, owning a perfect or error 2006 penny isn't just about numismatics. It's about status, legacy, and the thrill of capturing something almost nobody else will ever have. And that desire fuels the prices more than the metal ever could. Remember, this isn't about copper. It's about prestige. Of course, the biggest question looming over this entire discussion is simple. Do you have one? That tiny question carries a lot of weight. Somewhere in America, someone does. But they don't know it yet. Maybe it's sitting in a dusty coffee can in the garage. Maybe it's in a childhood piggy bank. Or perhaps it's that lucky penny someone tossed in a drawer years ago. The thought alone creates a little fear, doesn't it? The fear of missing out on a life-changing discovery. But fear, when used the right way, can be a powerful motivator. And we're not here to be afraid. We're here to take action. Before you start tearing apart every drawer in the house, let's talk about what you should actually look for. The most valuable 2006 pennies share several traits that separate them from the average pocket change. First, exceptional condition. If the coin has no scratches, no discoloration, and looks like it could have been struck this morning, you're in luck. Second, unusual characteristics. Doubling in the words "I in God we trust" or "liberty," unexpected thickness, off-center striking, or strange coloring can signal rare mint errors. Third, metallic anomalies. In very rare cases, a few coins were struck on the wrong material, making them essentially mint accidents. These are the coins that collectors chase with open wallets. And here's another twist to keep your attention right where it should be. The most valuable example discovered so far wasn't found in a private collection or a bankroll. It came from someone who simply didn't know what they had. Let that sink in. The next record-breaking penny could be sitting in a random handful of change right now. Maybe yours, maybe not. But isn't it worth finding out? As you continue watching, you might feel a mix of excitement and urgency. That's good. Opportunity always comes with emotion. But let's channel that emotion into something practical. A real, step-by-step plan to turn old pennies into potential wealth. Start by gathering all your stored change. Every coin jar, every old cup holder, every drawer you've ignored for years. Next, sort out the pennies from 2006. Don't rush. Sometimes the most valuable finds are the easiest to overlook. After that, take the best-looking examples and compare them closely to reference photos from reliable coin grading sources. If something looks unique or flawless, it might deserve professional attention. And here comes one of those moments every good story needs. A turning point. For many viewers, this may be the exact moment when an ordinary object transforms into a symbol of possibility. The moment when a simple penny stops being spare change and starts looking like a potential investment. The moment when you begin to realize that wealth isn't always built through complicated strategies or risky ventures. Sometimes it begins with knowledge. Sometimes it begins with awareness. Sometimes it begins with a coin that costs 1 cent, but before you jump to conclusions, you need to know the truth. Not every penny is worth 6 figures, let alone millions. Most are common. Most will fetch only face value. And that's where many people get discouraged and quit searching altogether. But quitting has never made anyone wealthy. Persistence has. And the people who make extraordinary finds are almost always the ones who keep looking long after others have stopped. So ask yourself, are you willing to continue the hunt? What if the next coin you check is the one worth more than your car, your annual salary, or even your house? As collectors continue to increase in number and the market becomes more competitive, values for rare coins are expected to rise even higher. That means your window of opportunity is wide open now, but it won't stay open forever. Wealth has a funny habit of rewarding those who act, not those who wait. And while the idea of a modern penny fetching hundreds of thousands, or even millions, might sound like a wild fantasy today, so did the idea of a comic book selling for over $1 million once upon a time. Markets change, demand rises, and history has shown us time and time again that the smallest objects can generate the biggest fortunes. As we approach the end of this journey, let me leave you with something powerful to think about. Somewhere in America, a 2006 no-mint mark penny is waiting to be discovered. It might be sitting in a gas station drawer, a bankroll, a forgotten piggy bank, or even in your collection right now. The only question is whether you'll be the one who finds it. And here's the final cliffhanger, the thought that should stay with you long after this video ends. If one ordinary penny from 2006 can be worth over $200,000 today, imagine what the rarest ones will be worth tomorrow. The next record-breaking sale hasn't happened yet. The next millionaire-making penny hasn't been found yet. That story is still unwritten, and you could be the one to write it. Keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the value of what's already in your hands. Your life-changing discovery might be closer than you think.